So I'm looking at the big story for the Nigerian market today because analysts broadly back the central bank's largest Naira redesign and the late regulator's cash withdrawal policy announced 2 days ago. However, bank agents and mobile money operators believe that the withdrawal limit could hurt their businesses. Joining me to chat to this is the president of the Association of the Mobile Money Bank Agents, Victor Olojo. Good evening. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. What's your view for the rationale that the central bank provided when the whole Naira redesigning program was announced?
Yes, I mean, on the general outlook, it's something we celebrate. We believe that there's a grand scheme that the CBN is trying to pursue. And we are aligned with the CBN. It's something we like, and we've been working with the CBN for over a decade. I mean, right now we have over 1.4 million mobile money and bank agents spread across the country. Last year, in value, we did over 6.3 trillion in transaction. Within the first 8 months of this year, we have already exceeded that figure. So when this new policy was released a few days ago, we became very worried and jittery. But after listening to the interview by our dear governor of the CBN, I mean, it's very reassuring. He kept referring to, just the recent one that was heard. Yes, I mean, he kept referring to mobile money and bank agents as super agents.
I was thinking about you.
Absolutely.
And young members.
Yes, but that wasn't reflected in the circular that was released
2 days ago.
Yes, 2 days ago. Now, the worry we had was that we felt that this approach should actually have been progressive, not just bringing it down to 20,000 naira. We'll deal with Nigerians. I mean, over the past decade, we do a lot. Just for instance, I mean, Nigeria still remains a cash dominant, talking about the rural people. Go to any rural market around today. Mobile money and bank agents are playing very pivotal roles. A case study of Kara markets. Now, cattle herders, they come, they bring their cattle. You should do a research to see the role mobile money agents are playing in trying to just, get the money from those who want to buy the cattle and transfer or give the money to those who, so this same goes and transcends throughout the economy.
Sometimes I just worry, do we have a bit of a trust deficit in Nigeria when it comes to cash transactions or is it that we just love the fact that the money is in my hand, we're torching it? Again, if you look at folks digging the ground and burying hundreds of millions of naira, is it because we just like the feel, like the Colombian and Mexican drug lords just stuffing cash in the walls, in the ceiling, in the toilets?
Yeah, so I mean, there is a cash culture in Nigeria. It's something that is part of us. I mean, you go to an average Nigerian party, the way you want to be announced is how much money you're spraying. So there's this thing about just having cash, right? And the other aspect I want to talk about, which is also very pivotal to us, is that when this policy was actually announced 2 days ago, some of the issues we've seen is that we have issues even with the technology today. Many small business owners are losing trust because of the fraud system. I mean, there's fraud in the system. I mean, today you do transaction, it takes days before it. So it's like the IT infrastructure seems overstretched already, or we don't know what exactly is happening. But we believe that, like the governor has said, which is something we're happy about, and we will continue to work very closely with the governor to see how we can interface, with Nigerians and let them embrace the alternative solutions to cash. I mean, the e-Naira and the several other solutions we have on ground.
Infrastructure, and you touch on that, because again, when you talk to those who are doing transport, they are in farming, agriculture, whatever, they tell you, look, the road infrastructure is such a problem. Then we talk about the digital currency payment system. We're talking about infrastructure as well, because again, for the entire all of you within this financial system, from the banks to the central bank, to those of you who goes the last mile and ensure that the man and the woman in the village gets paid for his farm products, produce, whatever, whether it's chicken or whatever. There's an issue of infrastructure here in terms of electricity to even start with. So that's why I'm just thinking, isn't it time we perhaps call the attention of the government and say, look, the central bank is trying to do much, but there's a problem with you get to some POS.
Good.
And they're looking for electricity to even charge
Very valid.
the POS.
The
money is
network
there.
sometimes,
the money is
network
there. Yes.
for the POS to work.
Yes.
I mean, you go to filling stations, gas stations, pharmacies, and they tell you, sorry, we don't have network. Our POS is not working. You know, so there's the framework of ecosystem. There are other players, not just the banks, the IT, the telcos and all. So it's a gamut of all these players.
So some other ministries and government agencies need to be part of this conversation.
Absolutely.
NCC, for example.
Absolutely.
Ministry of Electricity, Ministry of Power.
Absolutely. I mean, another thing we're looking at, which the operators, the fintechs are also doing, is they are becoming more innovative with the terminals they are bringing to the market. So some terminals these days have longer battery life, 9 hours, 12 hours. And the fact is, many of these operators have invested so much. So when this policy came, it was not clear. I mean, the agents were not clearly identified. Right.
Within the scheme of
things. Yes,
things.
within the scheme of things. But I'm happy to know that the central bank governor actually has, because he kept mentioning agents, and he said on his way to Daura, he actually saw agents even in the president's town or village. So that's a good thing. Our call at the Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents is to see that agents are well utilized. We want to work well to ensure that the gains of the financial system in Nigeria Nigerians benefit from it. And how do we do this? We've been doing it already. I mean, we enroll for BVN, account enrollment, NIN. We issue all of those things. All we need to do is just to keep, building on the successes that we've had over the past decade.
We will want everyone to, I'm sure, and I was enthused so when I heard the central bank governor say, look, there's flexibility. I'm sure he must have spoken with the president.
Yes.
Perhaps Mr. President says, well, you may have to just tweak that a little bit,
yes,
because down the road, my village, you've got to make sure that they have enough cash.
Okay, go ahead.
We're going to have this conversation again because it's all still on January next year, isn't it?
9th, but I mean, with what he said, he mentioned 17th, so yes, we still would expect some measure of clarity. Yes, but I'd like to use this opportunity to actually appreciate the Nigerian Senate and the Nigerian House of Rep, because we were worried that the jobs of 1.4 million agents were at risk. Because the question was, what would 20,000 naira do for an agent that is serving in a rural community? So I mean, this is the right step in the right direction.
Every voice counts, and everyone in the ecosystem very important. Absolutely. And well taken care of. So this is it's a work in progress.
Absolutely.
So let's see how it goes. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it this evening, bringing you here into the studio, speaking with me, and have a pleasant evening. That's Victor Olojo, National President of the Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents in Nigeria.